Fargo police are giving us an update about the night Officer Jake Wallin was shot and killed. They released police body camera footage from the incident and a warning that some of the video being released may be disturbing to watch. Here's more from that press conference.
We're going to have up on one of the screens, we're going to have a still photograph, an overhead photograph, so that you can see sort of the layout of the area that's going to be shown to you with the video that we're going to release today. You're going to be seeing an officer body cam video. You'll see that this is impressive technology, frankly. The images are very good. They're very easy to see. The video has been, I should add, has been edited out of respect. It will be clear to you why they're edited in the fashion they are, with some digital blurring, I guess I'll call it. There's a bit of that. And what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to go through the video one time. We'll just let it play out for your viewing without comment. And then I'm going to plan to go through it a second time, and I'll stop at a couple of points in the video and maybe give a little further explanation. This will all sound familiar to you if you've been here for these other events. It looks like everybody is in the room today has been here for these as we've gone through the information. So I'll stop. We'll go through that next time, and we'll bear with us as we go through and try to get it to stop at the right points, and we can have a little discussion about it. Chief Zibolski and his team are going to talk with you about internal personnel matters and their evaluation of this body cam and all of the evidence involved in this case with regard to the use of deadly force, which is a separate determination from our decision with regard to the use of force, which we had the press conference here now going back a couple weeks. We'll also take your questions today. And we've got a time limitation. I'll tell you about right now. At 11:30, there's a space time limitation. And I think every reporter in the room has my phone number. You can call, or we can talk outside further if you have other questions. We don't want to truncate that because of that, that logistical consideration. Tell you quickly about the video. Like I said before we get going, in its entirety, and this is Officer Zach Robinson's body cam, by the way, if I didn't say that. It is 3 minutes and 7 seconds in length. To prepare you rather quickly, it's 58 seconds into the video that we're showing today. 58 seconds in is when the first barrage of unprovoked, very rapid fire from Barakat's .223 caliber rifle. Throughout the video, you are able to hear, the sound has not been in any way edited. You are able to hear Officer Robinson's voice making repeated calls. You will hear multiple commands from Officer Robinson to Barakat. All of that is easily audible, detectable on the video. And you'll be able to view that Barakat never complies and persists as a threat until the very end, when Officer Robinson neutralizes the threat at 2:44 in the video that we're going to be sharing with you today. So with that, if we could put up the still photo, here we go. All right, this is what you see here along the bottom of the screen is 25th Street. All right. North side is on the right side here. South side is on the left. The cross street over here at the far left of the photograph is 9th Avenue South. This image was put together, and I want to thank our folks at the BCI. We've got Director Zibolski here with us today and his crew. They put this with some technology that we have to put together the overhead image so that you can see. If you go into the parking lot section there on the far right of that, that's Barakat's car with both doors open. Immediately to the left of it in the photograph, that is the vehicle, the other vehicle that was involved in the car accident that took place on 25th. That was when it was pulled in there, and where the folks who were in that vehicle had been out taking photographs of it and waiting for the officers to walk over there and take their statements. And then these are just some police vehicles that arrived that responded in the wake of Officer Robinson's call. And I should say the vehicle on 25th, furthest to the right, in this photograph is civilian Carly Cossack's vehicle that was involved in that fender bender incident. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and play the video start to finish, 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
Shots fired, Central, we got shots fired! Central, we got a man with an AK-47, he's shooting at us. We're at Central, shots fired, shots fired! We got 3 officers down, 3 officers down! Send everybody. Stop moving! Stop moving! Put your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Fargo 534, 3 officers down.
The only one?
He's the only one.
Now that we're able to show you this, I think it's pretty evident that what you're looking at is an act of extreme courage and valor. An individual who knew that when he was under attack, he needed to neutralize that threat as quickly as possible to allow for life-saving measures to be administered to the rest of our cops and that citizen. And so the whole time, he's got that in the back of his mind. He's getting assistance. He's moving up against that armed and very dangerous threat. He had a rifle and a pistol on his person and many other rounds and guns in the vehicle. As he did that, he also showed extreme restraint. Look at how many times Officer Robinson, even in that situation, when he's the only one standing there at the moment, other people are in need of very dire medical attention, provides opportunities for Mr. Bearcat to surrender, to drop his gun, to show his hands. And in no uncertain terms does he try to do that at all. He continues to come up with different weaponry, trying to get his weaponry to work. Officer Robinson continues to engage him until he's neutralized, at which time we're able to provide that immediate life-saving care to the officer. So just a tremendous job on his part. So when we are involved in active gunfire situations, responding officers have to be mindful that we just can't come from all directions. So they're trying to come in from a direction in which they don't place themselves in the middle of the gunfire. They're essentially right on the perimeter, and between them and the suspect is Officer Robinson. So they aren't able to fire at a distance with him behind the car and Officer Robinson actively engaged in the middle. So as you see Officer Clower coming up at the end, there was several officers there ready and able to engage this individual if something else happened, but they couldn't fire in that position with Robinson in the middle. So the other thing that they had to consider is that beyond where Officer Robinson and those citizens are, there's active traffic. You saw the active traffic going on, and also on the east-west 13th Avenue, South Street, traffic as well. And so even in those situations, our officers have to be mindful of that.
As a part of my duties and responsibilities was to conduct a thorough review of our policy to make sure that the use of force incident that Officer Robinson engaged in did not that it fit our policy. And so that was done, and from our findings is that we did not find any use of force violations from Officer Robinson. Obviously, we looked at it from many perspectives. This is just one of many body cameras and also vehicle cameras that we reviewed, and really came down to what the subject's actions were at the time, what his intent, his ability, his means, and his opportunity to affect harm on not only our officers but the citizens of Fargo. So we looked at what the immediacy and the severity of the threat was, the conduct of the subject, the proximity to weapons, the other use of force options that Officer Robinson may have had at that time, and what was the risk to the public. Taking those things into consideration, it became very obvious that that Officer Robinson was justified and did not violate any policy.
Without little context, it may seem like Officer Robinson fired a lot of shots at Barcott even after he was on the ground. Can you touch on again why all those shots were needed? And just kind of like everyone was needed, especially after Barcott was down. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, Barcott has unloaded a barrage of the functional equivalent of automatic fire at officers and a civilian, and is down on the ground. You're right about that, but he persists, and now he's trying to get the 223 back up as he's going along. He's not listening to the officers directing him. He's not just shooting at him, he's directing him. Put your hands up. He's not putting his hands up, he's trying to put the gun up. Then, not able to get the 223 up, he goes for his 9mm. Over and over, he is directed to put the gun down, put the gun down. And when he's shot repeatedly by Robinson, he persists. As you can imagine, if I'm Officer Robinson, I'm kind of assuming the guy's got a Kevlar on or something's protecting him, because he's persisting. He is very much in the fight. Now, as that goes on, you want to note a time, an interesting time? The amount of time between those rounds that Officer Robinson shoots. When he again gives Barcott an opportunity to just relent, put your hands in the air. That's what you talk about, the poise, to know that I'm watching him and I know that he's not at that moment, pointing the gun in my direction, so I'm not going to continue to shoot if I'm Robinson, but I'm ordering him to put down that gun, and instead he's trying to chamber that round. That's why. And when he comes around the vehicle the last time, as I said way before we ever shared this video a couple weeks ago, one final time again, put down the gun. He does not put down the gun. He's still waving the 9mm. You've got human civilians underneath, within range, underneath the vehicle, immediately to Barracott's right, which is the side that he's got the gun on, and you've got the officer coming around now from behind. Officer Robinson coming from behind the vehicle. He knows he has shot this person several times. Barracott is persisting in the fight. Officer Robinson neutralizes the threat with finality, appropriately, reasonably, lawfully.
Mr. Wrigley, you did say that the other officer's body camera footage was not going to be released today. Is that something we can expect to see in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be releasing that to find a way to share that information. with the media. I can tell you there's a fair amount of it that, there are some exceptions of materials that we would release. I think it would be obvious to people why. There's a very significant amount of distress going on, life-saving care being provided. The first instinct of these officers was to address the incident going on at that moment. And then in the not even yet aftermath, Officer Hawes was hit multiple times and couldn't stand up to walk. Had been shot through his right arm and is literally crawling to get to Dotis's side before he gets there. And to be at his side, to be holding his hand, to be calling his name, to be willing him to live. There's stuff that we're just not going to be able to convey. But we understand, too, that, we'll reach some sort of accord so media can view and evaluate the information that's there.